Anyways, sorry about that, guys. Okay. Hey, so fun fact, I was not recording that entire time on my mic. You ever walk through a Target and you're going there to buy groceries, but you don't want to buy the groceries there anymore because it's $150 to get groceries at Target now because everything is so expensive and Target is not affordable whatsoever anymore. And you're like, damn, I kind of need some joy and whimsy in my life right now, very badly. So you go to the toy section to relive memories. And in the toy section, you get to that part of the toy section where it's the video game genre of toys, and so you see like Bendy and the Ink Machine action figures and Roblox for some reason, and all of a sudden you see this and you think to yourself, where did we go from Fnaf 1 horror game about murder to Chica animatronic tie-dye action figure? What? What up, big dogs and divas? My name is Chuck, and today we're going to be talking about how FNAF used to be this well-acclaimed horror video game about murders of children and haunted animatronics into PG-13 slop. Now, I want to give a warning before I start this video because I know some of you guys out there are going to be ornery about this. I'm specifically going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and Security Breach. I'm doing these two for comparison reasons, and Security Breach was the main game that came out when the transition came from Scott Cawthon to Steel Wool Studios. So it's a comparison. I might mention some other games, but it's whatever. Editing Chuck here. After a month of not being able to work on this video because my computer broke and I had to get a new one and I had to wait a month to get it. It's fixed now and I'm doing it. I have been told by friends and family that I should also mention that I made this video decently opinionated. Everybody's allowed to have their opinions. So are you, and so am I. Okay. Also, I don't know if you can see it, but my roots are blue now. That's cool. Also, I will not be talking about lore. That is for another video that eventually I'll do. I don't know when, but it'll happen. Also, I will be dogging the shit out of Steel Wool Studios and also Security Breach and games after Security Breach. So if that's your favorite time of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, I'm gonna dog pretty hard on this video, and I really do not care. Now, there are some of you out there that are thinking to yourself, what the heck is Five Nights at Freddy's? Huh? There's not a lot of you out there, but there's some, and you're kind of weird. Or you're over 30. Either one. Don't care. Five Nights at Freddy's is a point-and-click horror game that is based in a pizzeria with haunted animatronics coming after you. There are lore bits and pieces in the video game that you can scavenge out yourself throughout the game. To start us off, the game that started it all, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, or should I say, FNAF 1.
O cholera, czy to Freddy Fazbear?
FNAF 1. Even though point-and-click horror was nowhere new to the gaming genre, it kind of had its own breaking point to itself. And what I mean by that is that it had a point-and-click aspect to it, but also it entrapped you in one room the entire time that you were in the game. You have the option to click through the cameras and stuff like that, and you should, because that helps with the gameplay and stuff like that. But I find that the office being your only space causes for some form of negative space to be happening, and also in the negative space that adds to the uncertainty of not being able to move, aka not being able to get out of the restaurant nor get out to some form of safety. Obviously, the camera aspect, it does add perspective to the game, literally, but also it still does not take away from the fact that you are still stuck in the exact same place the entire time. I wish there was more realisticness to where the cameras are being pointed in the game, because it is directly at the animatronics, but I can't really talk about realistic because this game is literally about haunted animatronics that have children stuffed in them. What can I say? The lore aspect of this game, you do not have to look for lore whatsoever, and it won't fully change your gaming experience on this. What I mean by that is that you do not need the lore to enjoy the game, but if you look for it and you try to decipher it, it adds to the experience. It adds to the scariness. It adds to this like mystery to it, obviously. Also, the sound design in this game, although it is kind of on the smaller scale, it still is effective. The only time that there is a genuine like jump of the sound is obviously when you get jump scared and when you see them in your door looking at you. And I love also that the fan sound in the background in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 kind of alludes to the fact that like obviously you're in this office, but you're completely alone. There's no one else here except you and the animatronics, obviously, but still. Overall, each detail in this game was thought out. The audio, the visuals, everything that is presented to us in the office, in the animatronics, in the cameras themselves. It gives this uncertainty in each aspect. Now, I feel like I should mention the steel wool transition. Scott Cawthon, the main producer and designer of Five Nights at Freddy's, retired and handed off the franchise to Steel Wool Productions. We didn't know at the time, but Steel Wool was already transitioning into the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise before Security Breach. Steel Wool's first impression on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise was actually the Curse of Dreadber Halloween DLC. Five Nights at Freddy's got so big that it became a VR game. It was VR games of the original games and then also added on mini games. And of course, this game also had lore in it. A lot of it. In the DLC of the Curse of Dreadber, me personally, I thought it was sick. I thought it was so fun. Halloween DLC will never get old to me. I love a Halloween DLC so much. It's my favorite type of DLC so far. In this DLC, they had really great mini games and also spins on the original games that I would consider more than just a mini game. Specifically the one ripping off of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. That was great. That was so wonderful. The last mini game on the Curse of Dreadber DLC was the introduction to Vanny, who is supposed to be one of the big main characters in upcoming Security Breach at the time. Me personally, when I first saw the Vanny mask and also heard the Vanny monologue that came along with it when you put it on afterwards, it was pretty creepy. It was pretty cool. If I knew that Steel Wool was the producers of Curse of Dreadber, my hopes would have been even higher for Security Breach, because I was genuinely knocked out of the park with this DLC. I very much loved it. It was very fun to watch. But thank God my hopes were not that high. Security Breach, ooh. I have never been more petrified and pissed off at game franchise turnover. It was pretty disappointing. Security Breach was a huge game, an insanely huge game. And to add on to that, Security Breach was completely free roam. No point and click, no nothing. No Fnaf game up until this point was ever free roam, and also ever in the stylization of free roam. It was mostly point and click. In the game, you are mostly just running away from the animatronics chasing after you, because you are in the perspective of a little boy named Gregory, you are not running out of fear of, oh my god, this is so scary, they're coming after me. You're running out of fear of, oh my god, if they get me one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose all of my progress that I just made from running away from them the last time. When this game first came out, I want to say it had maybe over 50 bugs going on because of how expansive it was and how expansive Steel Wool wanted to create this game. They also pushed it back a couple of times as well, which, no shame in pushing back your game. There is no shame in that. What there is, though, is over expanding on something and then not ready to the public very clearly. Don't get me wrong, I have projects come out all the time where I'm like, yeah, no, I definitely need more time on this, or I procrastinated the shit out of it to the point where I was doing it at 2 a.m. the night before it's due, but definitely not this video right now. What are you talking about? Well, not exactly 2, but still though. But this game had so many bugs going on that it impeded on your experience of playing the game itself. Many patches have come and gone now, and I'm pretty sure the game is like fully running at this point. Back when it was first releasing and stuff like that, it's just severely was not doing good. Even the promotion for this game was horrible. Almost every single trailer that came out for this game has been completely retconned now, due to the fact that most of the voice lines said in these trailers have not appeared whatsoever in the game or the narrative overall. And funny enough, even in the trailers, they were retconned back to back because the trailers were so vastly different from each other that it did not make sense whatsoever. Changing mechanics in this franchise is not a new thing whatsoever, and I'm not dogging on the fact that mechanics have changed in this game. Fnaf 4 was the first time we ever saw some form of mechanic change up, and then specifically Sister Location was the real huge change up that happened. I'm not saying that change is a bad thing. Change is like one of the main things that saved this franchise from just kind of stopped being mainstream, because over time we were after FNAF 3 it did feel like, oh shit, we're just gonna get the same game over and over and over again. But after FNAF 4 and then specifically Sister Location came out, it was back in the ringer. But what I will say is that the full control given to Steel Wool, the full control given over to Steel Wool in this franchise has drastically brought it down. I'm not exactly sure why they're making these changes and also making these decisions to the continuing games as well. I think they kind of got their shit together with FNAF Ruin a little bit. I will say it was way better than Security Breach and like had more oomph to it and had a little bit more spookiness to it. Security Breach was one of the biggest letdowns of this franchise, and it's really sad because it was decently hyped up. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Any users, also hi there, if you're watching this is my first video, yay! I am technically making this video for my film final in college right now, so if you're seeing this in my class right now, hey guys, how did I do? But I also want to preface, I'm not gonna specifically stay with making video essays and stuff like that. I'm gonna be a very experimental channel and stuff. I don't want to specifically put myself to one genre. I want to let myself explore and stuff. So do not expect full consistency on content. Expect anything and everything content-wise, which I know doesn't really help me. But I don't care. It's my channel, and I'm gonna let myself live and have fun. Live, laugh, love. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching. This was really cool to do. And if you like it, please like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, That's it. Okay. Bye.
Oh, 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 oh.